I'd like to call the Planning Commission to order. Our first item of business is to hold a public hearing to consider zoning district map change from A1 residential single unit district to OI office institutional residential district for the following property at 1132 Boulevard Street, tax map number 0173-05-06-002. Decimal 000. Is there anyone here to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and I'm going to have to limit everybody to 5 minutes, but everybody's welcome to speak. Whoever wants to come first, please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Barbara DeWitt Cherry. I reside at 1028 Dancer Street with my husband, David E. Cherry. I'm not a speaker, so I'm going to be reading this because I don't want to leave anything out.
Take your time.
I have had a disturbance from this address since the last of April until recently when they left from an ambulance transport service. I have endured 7 ambulances slamming doors, idling as much as an hour with no one in it. Of course, that's putting out fumes, and you can't even go out in the yard for the scent. Beep, beep, and sirens going off. I have encountered not only an ambulance, but personal vehicles. It may be as many as 7 people plus more, because it takes more than 2 people, I think, per vehicle. They would be yelling across the yard at each other. This has happened at like 4 a.m. until. If this is a transport company, why sirens? I'm not sure, but maybe just one driver might be doing that. All these noises sounds if they are right in my living room and in my bedroom. All of this is very disturbing. I would like for this to stay a residential area. If not the guardian, Lord knows what else might come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
I'm Joseph Houck. I live at 1031 Dantzler Street. My house is next to the office building, and I'm across the road from where this proposed change is supposed to be. And Ms. Cherry lives across the street from me. I can attest to what she is saying. This is a problem with their ambulances parked there. It's not just 1 or 2 ambulances. It's like 6, 7, or 8. And they are cracking the sirens in the morning at 7:30. I work at night. I have to hear this. The eyesore situation is horrible. I brought pictures so you can see what it looks like when all their ambulances are parked over there. If anybody cares up here on this committee to check this out, would you please look at them and pass them on down. Mr. Wolf? There seems to be no regard for the residents in the area. Once you view the photographs, you can see what they did, again, with the smoke and the smell. I've got pictures on my phone of the diesel smoke coming out of the ambulances and drifting over to our residences, and that's what we smell. We have to cut our HVAC systems off in our homes to listen, so the ventilation system doesn't suck the diesel fuel smell into our houses. We have to shut the doors. I mean, this is horrible. They haven't considered anybody in that community whatsoever. And again, with the siren cracking in the morning, I work at night. That's the first thing I hear that wakes me up. It's horrible. It's a horrible eyesore. I just can't tell you how bad this looks in the community. I mean, if it was maybe a tax office or a financial service or something like that that was low-key, that people were just coming in and out with their cars, that would be one thing. But this is a community, and we do have a right to be residences where we have always been residences. And to hear these ambulances running for an hour and a half, 2 hours every morning without any regard, because you can hear the diesel motor running and humming. And you can smell the smoke, and you can hear the siren cracks when a guy tests his siren in the morning. And it's just a complete eyesore to be there. I mean, if it was just an office, that would be fine, but these ambulances, this is a diesel van parking lot on grass with no parking consideration there for a business. You really need to consider this. This is a bad idea, a really bad idea for this community. I'm done.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Cliff Yates, 567 Ellis Avenue. I've been alarmed for a while about the changing or transferring from residential in the city to other zonings, because if this is to be a city, there's only a finite amount of residential property within a city. If we keep zoning it for something else, we'll have no city residences. And I thought that was the whole point of having a city. The other thing is, it's gotten to the point where there's neighborhood degradation, to the point where the only houses we see in terms of new construction is habitat housing. Now, we can't build a city of habitat housing, and that's what it seems like we're going to end up with. For the last 20 houses I've seen, all of them have been habitat. And whereas everybody needs a place to stay, there are things like, you look at projected disposable income of the new inhabitants, and it's not going to benefit the city very much, especially when we're trying to revitalize downtown. I just don't get it. Anyway, I'm done.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Carrie Bourgeois, and I work for Guardian Angels Medical Transportation, the terrible eyesore nuisance business, as I've been here as called, which is totally exaggerated and untrue. We are the business that want to occupy 1132 Boulevard Street, and we are a decent, law-abiding business that just wants to be there. And we have businesses on 3 sides of us. We only have one house behind us, and I think it's occupied by these people right here. I don't think that we're making that much of a difference in the neighborhood, as in detrimental. We're actually improving it by being there. The landlord is here also, which is Omar. I'm sure he'll speak on it. But I just ask that y'all consider it, because we are a business in Orangeburg. We do what we're supposed to do. We're not loud, we're not obnoxious, we're not an eyesore. We're not cutting sirens on and off, and we're not leaving vehicles running for 2 hours out in our, who can do that with gas prices and diesel prices, in our parking lot. So it is rented to us, and he rented it to us as a commercial property. He kind of jumped the gun. He thought that it had been taken care of. He didn't really understand the process that well. But we do have a lease for it to be a commercial property, and we ask that you uphold that. And that's all we ask from you. But we're not being loud. We're not eyesore in the city. We're just running a business, a decent business from that property. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Dawn Helk. I live at 1031 Dantzler Street. And I have witnessed 3 times that it's the same employee who's running his siren at 7:15 a.m. I can describe the employee to them if they would like. It's only the one employee doing it. Not only are they parking all those ambulances on the same side of the property, but they're exiting out of that property where there's not a driveway. And it does smell. It is an eyesore. She's okay with it because she does not live there. That's where she's going to be doing her business. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, hi everybody. My name is Minhajuddin Muhammad, and I'm here today for 1132 Boulevard Street property.
Are you a resident of Orangeburg?
No, sir, I'm the resident of Columbia,
Okay.
but we recently bought the property on that street. We also bought the strip mall and also the house. So we have invested a lot on that property to, make it look good and bring a lot of business in that area. We have seen that the house that we bought, that's the only house there on the street which is residential. Almost everything on that street is commercial. So we're finding it hard to find anybody residential occupying that house. So we thought we'll change it to commercial so that, it will, mix with whatever is there on that street. We found a very good tenant. They have a very good experience and they have a very good reputation in the city. They are already in Orangeburg. And since we were new here, we didn't know all the process. So we did sign a lease with them. Then we found out that there's a different process. It has to be first converted into an office building. So I'm here requesting you to provide us, help us converting it so that, we can rent it to these beautiful people. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Thank you.
My name is Christopher Tyler. I reside right here in Orangeburg at 675 Stanley Street. I am the operations manager at Guardian Transport. Regardless of how they feel about this is disingenuous. I inherited the property for less than 48 hours before I had a cease and desist, so I've had no business activity actually to run out of the property. So I don't know where most of this comes from. I provide ambulance services in Orangeburg. I've done it for a long time. I'm not an emergency service. The parking, I park in the strip mall. That's where all my employees park. That came with it, which the back of my property is a liquor store. Across the street from it is a gas station. On the other side of it is a bank, and then there's another little office directly across from me where A1 Transport ran out for 4 years and nobody had an issue with it. So I really don't see what the problem is. Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Well, my name is Gloria Rickenbacker-Hutto. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I won't want that by me either. Because down the street from me, I had somebody that was driving an emergency truck. And they was having down there playing in it and all in the night. And that's a disgrace. It's supposed to be used for taking somebody to the hospital or something. You're supposed to use these things with common sense. If you don't have common sense by doing it, and you rather, upset the neighbors, then they need to find another place.
Would you give your street address for the record, please?
Oh, I don't live over there. I live on 2018 Staley Street.
Okay, that's fine. They
Orangeburg.
just need it for the record.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? I'd like to thank everybody that spoke. We will now close the public hearing and move into our regular meeting. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes of April 18th, 2024. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. Under new business, to consider a zoning district map change from A1 residential single-unit district to OI office institutional residential district for the following property at 1132 Boulevard Street Northeast, tax map number 0173-05-06-002.000. Ms. Williams, would you like to address the commission?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mohammed submitted all of his required documents for approval, so he's met all of the criteria.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Williams? I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny the request.
Motion to deny.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, the ayes have it. Under new business, consideration for conditional use of a land development other than a subdivision located at 761 Russell Street, tax map number 0152-20-01-005.000, tax map number 0152-20-01-007.000, tax map number 0152-20-01-002.000, a portion of tax map number 0152-20-006.000. Ms. Williams, would you like to address the commission's concerning this?
I would, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Newman, with the development company, submitted an application for conditional use, and she met all of the criteria for approval. She is here today, and I'd like to yield the floor to her if she'd like to say something.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Neiman. My address is 322 Tattersall Court in Sugar Hill, Georgia. I was here last month when we were talking about a B1 to B2, but tonight we are here to talk about the land development project other than a subdivision. And, you know, I'm just here to answer any questions that you may have, because I know that we are here tonight to talk about just the project design criteria, and if you had any questions for me.
Any commission members have any questions?
You should have in front of you a site plan. Since I was here from last month, it previously was a lot larger of a project. It's been reduced. It's now only 40 units, which complies underneath the B1 zoning for 16 units an acre. And I think you do also maybe have some renderings. That's what these samples are here still here on the easels. Obviously, they do depict a larger project, and so now they would be on a much smaller scale.
Is this what the apartments will look like, what you have the rendering of, or is this just?
It's an idea. It's to give you an idea, because I know eventually we'll have to go in front of site plan and do site plan review and approval. But it's to give you an idea of what to expect, and we're open to comments. I've been talking with the city also internally on what kind of style that they would like to see. So, you know, completely up to interpretation, but, you know, this kind of gives you an idea, at least, you know, for what, you know, a style could look like.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The style that you're considering, would it be brick or would it be wood or?
A mix of, what we typically do is a mix of hardy plank, brick, and/or stone to it. I've shown definitely several different types of products. I've done a brick that would, I think, a little bit more to the look of downtown, that would incorporate more of the style, I think, as you see as you go down Russell Street. We've also done one, this one's a little bit, where I'm going to say a little bit more modern. And we had another one that we had also showed at council last week that was kind of a mix. It was a mix between this one and a brick facade, but we definitely, no vinyl siding, you know, everything will be either a combination of brick, hardy plank, and/or stone.
Do you know if is there gonna be a fire sprinkler system in the building? Or you're not sure?
I think I'm required after this, we're proposing 3 stories, and I believe after a certain height, whatever code is that requires it to put in, if it does, then yes, we would be sprinkling the building. I think with 3 stories, I think I do.
One more question from me.
Yes.
When it comes to the maintenancing of the other projects that you have put up, not daily, but how long, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place right now, but how long does that take or do you come together every month, every 2 weeks to maintenance the look of the apartments?
So we hire a full-time maintenance person who will be on site on a daily basis and handles, you know, anything that arises as far as, you know, doing grounds cleanup, minor repair, things like that that need to be done inside the building. That person will also be there as well as a full-time leasing agent, so we'll have 2 personnel as full-time. In addition, we hire an independent management company, and they manage all of our properties. We have now about close to 30 properties in the state of South Carolina, and you know, they come in and make sure that we're in compliance, and we're, you know, obviously they're other eyes and ears to us. For me, for example, not being here on a daily basis. But you know, as far as like maintenance for the project, if there's any kind of issue, then the tenants just come down and report it to the staff, and then the staff would take care of it.
And that's including grounds?
That's including grounds. Yeah, we'd also hire a landscape firm to come in and obviously do any edging, mowing, weeding, anything like that, that also would have to be done with the property.
And the reason I'm asking, because I just wanted to make sure that it's complementing where it is by the gardens.
100%. Yes, yes. We will make sure that when we come in, I've already even talked with several residents in the area, and we were talking about making sure that our corner, you know, as far as, you know, putting something in there, making sure that we are have a buffer, landscape buffer that will go all the way down. We'll plant lelands, magnolias, things like that, that will go along the edge of the property as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The parking area, I think it's adjacent to Seaboard, is that correct?
Correct.
And the common area as well? The common area is facing Seaboard?
It's going to be like an L-shaped building.
Right.
So, yeah, so how you will enter in and out of the property would be like inside the L, that you would, enter in, correct, vehicles and would come in off of Seaboard.
And the parking area, I'm not clear exactly where would that be on that side of the L?
So the L would run along, so the building itself would run down Russell, and then would also go perpendicular with Riverside. That's how that building would be shaped. So then the parking then would be on the back side. So as you go down Russell, you wouldn't see the parking, but you would see it once obviously you turn down Seaboard. Then when you would make then a left directly into the property, and all of the parking spaces would be housed on site. We don't require any off-site parking.
Each residence would have, what, at least 2 parking?
So, yeah, it's a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units, most of it being 1s and 2s. So we will average 1.5 parking spaces per unit. Not everybody typically in a apartment community does own 2 vehicles. So we make sure that, 1 is typically sufficient, but we'll have extra parking, and that's the minimum requirement, and we will exceed that.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny the request.
To approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Is there any other business to come before this commission? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed?